Okay, so we return from executive session, motion to return to public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we left off, our last appointment was vice chairman of the board, and now we are up to select a health and safety meeting board rep. Who would like to take on that role, please?
I'll accept that responsibility.
Okay, so
I'll second that.
So I make a motion to select Commissioner Ranalone as Health and Safety Committee meeting board representative for 202. Seconded by Anthony Laurie.
Second.
Okay, and we'll call the roll. Who wants?
Esang,
I'll
are you
call the
on?
roll. Yes, can you hear
There
me?
she goes.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Esang.
Great. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Abstain.
Commissioner Keating,
Aye.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye. All right, so that's all set. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
4 yeses, 1 abstain.
I'm sorry?
4 yeses and 1 abstain.
Correct. The next appointment is for Fire District Treasurer. So I motion to reappoint Jamie Hedstrom, CPA MST, to the position of Fire District Treasurer of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022, at the rate of $87 per hour. The position also has a few things listed here. I don't know if you need to read those out, unless we do.
There's no change from last year, right?
Right, no change from last
Okay,
year.
so you should be fine, Paul.
I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you, Paul. I'll second it.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Abstain.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye. All right, the passes. Thank you. Next is the appointment of secretary to the Board of Fire Commissioners. Motion to appoint Marissa Smith, as secretary to the Board of Fire Commissioners of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022, at a salary of $72,000, with all of the benefits remain the same, except we have one amended benefit. We have increasing the holidays from 6 to 8 per board policy. Get a motion to?
Second.
Did you give the increase in the number, Paul Carlo?
On the number of holidays?
No, the salary, the amount.
Yes, from 65 to 72, yes.
Right.
And an increase in holidays from 6 to 8.
Thank you.
I think Tom made the motion.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Laurie seconds it. And if
Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity. I'll go ahead and call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
I vote no because I think it should be much more.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
Thank you, Esang. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, commissioners. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next is the appointment of FOIL officer. Motion to appoint Marissa Esang Smith as Freedom of Information Law Officer of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Paul seconds
I'll
it.
call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
I apologize. I didn't hear what we were voting on.
FOIL officer.
Aye.
and Commissioner Carlo.
Aye. Thank you. Next, FOIL appeals officer. Motion to appoint Chief Brian Tween as Freedom of International Information Law Appeals Officer of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Second.
I think Paul seconded.
Okay, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo,
Aye. Thank you. Next is Fire, I'm sorry. Next is Fire District Council. Motion to appoint Coughlin and Gerhart LLP, 99 Corporate Drive, Binghamton, New York, as Fire District Council of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo,
Aye. Next, Fire District Ethics Council. Motion to appoint Stephen Sledzik, Esquire of Morrison Law Firm, PC, White Plains, New York, as Fire District Ethics Council of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo,
Aye. Thank you. Next is Fire District Auditor. Motion to appoint BST and Company, CPAs, Albany, New York, as Fire District Auditor of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022, for the terms of the existing agreement. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Abstain.
Commissioner Carlo,
Aye. Next is Fire District Physician. Motion to appoint Dr. Shika Goyal of White Plains Urgent Care as Fire District Physician of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Do
I'll
we
call the
need
roll.
to, do we have to appoint a firefighter medical doctor?
We should.
Okay, thank you.
Should.
I'll call the roll.
Yep.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
No.
Commissioner Roach,
Abstain.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
That is 3 yeses, 1 abstain, 1 no.
Yep, passes. Next, Fire District Chaplains. Motion to appoint the following: Reverend Carl Maiello from the Good Shepherd Church, Father Anthony Sorgi from Immaculate Conception Church, Rabbi Shuli Deitch from Shabbat of Bronxville, and Reverend Dr. Matthew Waterstone of the Reformed Church of Bronxville as Fire District Chaplains of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022. I'll make that motion.
I'll
Aye.
second it.
On the motion.
Yep.
Father Sorgi, his title is Immaculate Conception Assumption of Our Lady. That's a dual parish. Also, I would like to know if anyone has objection. Before the meeting, have one of the chaplains each month rotate it, that we open up our meeting with a prayer. If anybody has any objection to it, Congress opens their meetings with a prayer. So I think whether the rabbi, the reverend, the priest, whoever they are, just come by, say a prayer, and then they're off. And I think that's only appropriate.
Commissioner, can
Anthony,
we-
I love that idea. Oh, sorry.
that's okay. Commissioner, can we talk about that in recess for legal at the next meeting?
So we don't vote on it then tonight, right? Is that
You can vote on the chaplains.
okay?
I would want to discuss the prayer before a public meeting with you and executive.
Is there any special reason why?
Yes, multiple reasons.
Okay, but I'm just saying, the U.S. Congress does it, so I don't think there should be any objection for us doing it. But we will discuss it at the next meeting, as you say.
Thank you.
But
sir.
as far as all the chaplains that you mentioned, I have no objections. I'll vote yes on it.
And I would just want to add that we discussed adding Monsignor Luke Sweeney from Immaculate Heart of Mary, but we will do that at the next meeting because it wasn't on the required postings today.
I have no objection with that, Commissioner Roach.
Thank you, Anthony.
Okay, we called that roll, correct, Esang?
No, we didn't call it yet.
I'm sorry.
Not yet.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Paul, Chairman Carlo should be explicit in what we're voting on, based on Cheryl's wanting us to address the other part.
We are strictly voting on the appointment of fire district chaplains.
Good.
We're not voting on opening prayer at a future meeting.
Right,
Yeah, the motion is the motion to appoint as listed on the agenda.
right. You can address the other stuff later on.
Esang?
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
With the new appointment of next month, I agree with it. Yes.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Sure, yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye. Next is the official newspaper for legal notice. Motion to appoint the Journal News as official newspaper for legal notice of Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
On the motion, Commissioner Ranalone, Commissioner Carlo, could our news also go in the local paper that we have in town? What is it, the Eastchester Review?
He says, okay, so we did an official notice, so we use the Journal News as the official notice, but in
Yes.
addition posted to like the local papers in town.
Yes.
I mean, is there any reason why it would not be in lieu of, it would be in addition to, so any reason why we couldn't do that, Cheryl?
Okay, that sounds good.
No reason why you can't. By law, you have to designate an official paper. If by practice the board wants to direct to Esang by a consensus to include that other one, I have no problem. But legally, we need an official notice for things like public hearings, budget, etc.
My only comment would be that the Eastchester Review or the Eastchester Record would be half the price. I did reach out to them a year or two ago and talk to them about it. We just didn't move in that direction. If we wanted to just make them the paper of record, and then if we choose to go to the Journal, we could do that.
Well, I think a lot of the problem is that no one really has access to that local paper as easily as the Journal.
Fair enough.
I'm on the meeting.
Okay. So Esang?
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Sure.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye. Next is the Fire District Depository. Motion to appoint J.P. Morgan Chase and the Federal Reserve Treasury District Direct Account as Fire District Depositories of the Eastchester Fire District until December 31st, 2022. I'll make that motion.
I'll second that also.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Abstain.
Commissioner Roach,
Abstain.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
3 yeses, 2 abstains.
Next, last 2 items. Affirm workplace violence policy. The contact person for receiving any complaints in 2022 will be Chief Brian Tween and or the fire board chairman. Copies of said policies should be posted in each firehouse. And next is the Affirm Fire District Code of Ethics. The Code of Ethics of the Fire District revised 2019 has been distributed to all board members, the fire district treasurer, the secretary to the board of fire commissioners, and fire chief. A certification will follow to all for confirmation. The board instructed the chief to have copies posted in each firehouse. That concludes our appointments. Next, we have the.
We don't have to vote on that, Paul?
I'm sorry, Paul. Tom?
Don't we have to vote on that policy?
I don't believe we do, but Cheryl?
Okay, my mistake.
So it carries year to year. You're by law obligated to review it. It sounds like you're affirming it. You can make a motion. If the board hasn't looked at it, I would recommend that you look at it. And maybe we ask the board next month if there's any changes to it. But by not, you've reviewed it and you've affirmed it. I don't think you need an affirmative motion.
Right. Thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
All right, next is the payment of bills. So the treasurer sent out the last set of warrants, one set of warrants for January 6th. The board has been supplied with one set of bills for board approval. Chief Tween has reviewed all prior to the meeting, except certiorari claims and those specifically marked as reviewed by the treasurer. The treasurer has requested the board approve the following. Warrant 1-162022 in the amount of $230,868.43, total $230,868.43. I make a motion to pay those bills.
I'll second it.
Esang?
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Manalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
No.
Commissioner Roach,
Abstain.
Commissioner Carlo,
Aye.
3 yeses, 1 abstain, 1 no.
Thank you. All right, leaves us with, we have transcription software, which we have a motion on the table. So motion to repeal the motion approved at our last meeting on December 16th, 2021, approving purchases of transcription services for no more than $20 per month, and adopt a new motion to approve of the upfront cost of no more than $500 to transcribe the remaining 8 historical meetings, and the additional purchase of premium transcription software services for not to exceed $60 per month for future remote meetings. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
This was brought up in December of last year.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yes, December
Yes.
last year. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't a part of that last year, so I'll abstain from voting.
Right.
Commissioner Manalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
I'll abstain.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, well, not lastly, if you're almost done here. We have our schedule, upcoming Eastchester Board of Fire Commissioner meeting scheduled for 2022, which is posted on the website. And it's been proposed that we adopt a schedule of the third Thursday of each month, starting with January 20th at 7 p.m. I'll make a motion to adopt that schedule.
I'll second it. Go ahead, Anthony.
I'll
Go ahead.
second.
I'll
Okay.
call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Manalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
No.
Commissioner Roach,
I'll abstain.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
Okay, 3 yeses, 1 no, 1 abstain.
Next one is we have received a donation from the Garth Woods Owners Corporation, the amount of $150, and we have a motion to accept that donation from Garth Woods Owners Corporation, care of Gramerton Management, to Hamilton Avenue, Suite 217, New Rochelle, New York, in the amount of $150. The donation was made with no specifications or conditions and will be deposited into the general fund. Motion to accept that donation.
I'll make the motion.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie.
Aye.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Aye.
Gotcha. Commissioner Manalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
No.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye. I have one item that's not on the agenda. I think that since we're all here, Cheryl, that's not a problem. Is that mistaken?
Well, you also have the 2 labor matters, sir, that are on the agenda.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, we need to bring those up. Okay. Okay. So we have 2 labor issues that we need to make a motion on. The first one will be a motion to separate Eastchester Fire District firefighter, badge number 155, pursuant to Civil Service Law, Section 73, effective on or after January 10th, 2022. Do I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second?
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I-
When I heard that resolution
this.
read,
What's this in regards to?
Well, we discussed this person in exec session, Anthony.
Oh, okay. I think I know who you mean now. Okay. All right. Yes. My vote is yes.
well, before we vote, it was my understanding that the resolution would say we're giving the chief the authority to do that. Did I hear those words?
That is what this is. Yes, this is, the chief is acting on your behalf with your instruction.
Thank you, Cheryl. I just didn't hear that right.
No, you're okay.
I'll continue. Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Abstain.
Commissioner Roach,
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo,
Aye. Next is a motion to authorize the fire chief to settle civil service law, section 75, discipline against Eastchester Fire District firefighter badge number 201 on the following terms: forfeiture of accrued vacation equal to 6 24-hour tours, and forfeiture of overtime opportunities for up to 1 year, conditional on the firefighter's execution of a written agreement which contains an admission of guilt and such other terms as may be required by district council. Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
was it second? Or-
Second.
wait. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Laurie,
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
No, it should be more.
Commissioner Roach,
No.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye.
3 yeses, 2 nos.
Okay, can we bring up one other item that's not on the agenda, Cheryl?
You can, we had talked about the OML obligations, but untimely things do occur, so I will leave it to the board's discretion if it's not on the agenda, if you want to proceed, but timeliness is always an issue, so go ahead, sir.
No, it's just, okay, thank you. It's just simply that I'm just, with the upcoming class, starting March 15th, I believe, and with CPAT exams taking place on February 12th. I know we've been talking about sending recruits to the academy for March. So I'd like at this point just to mention that I would like to make a motion to send a minimum of 6 new hires to the academy effective March 15th based on their result of CPAT. And the process that I'd like to see happen is that the chief would be reviewing all the applicants and would recommend to the board those 6 or 7 that he would like to see go to class.
I would second that if he wants it.
Was anyone picked to go?
Not yet.
No one was picked to go yet.
No, because we still have about 8 people that can see Pat, about 14 more that
Okay.
are going to take it.
What
apparently.
I'm asking, these gentlemen who are going to CPAC, then none of them have been appointed to the roles of firefighter yet, right?
They get appointed afterwards.
That's what I'm saying. None of them are going to go with the intention that they are appointed as a firefighter.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So let me just get this straight, Paul Call. You're making a motion, even though we don't need to do it tonight. That wasn't on the agenda, to hire 6 new firefighters, and you want to alleviate the board of their duty of interviewing and reviewing those potential firefighters and give that job to the chief. Is that what you want to do tonight?
Yes.
And is there a reason why you want to do that tonight and not even address it for next month and put it on the agenda for the public to come out and discuss?
Well,
For the commissioners?
I have no, we can move it to January 20th if that's what you want to do.
I think you move it to February. There's no impact if you move to February even.
It's going to be too late in February.
I will tell you, I personally will never give up my duty as a commissioner to the chief. He's already too busy to interview firefighters. I don't know why you would do that either. It is one of the sole responsibilities of the commissioners. So why would you do that?
I think the chief is the best person to decide who can be,
He
hired.
can give us his recommendations, and he
That's
has.
what he's going to do, but I don't need to interview 22 people.
Then don't come to the interviews, but don't ask the commissioners not to come.
Okay, well, my motion was to send at least 6 to class, and the chief would have the responsibility of reviewing and making recommendations to the board.
I think you have to give all. I think the next class is somewhat of a 95, 30 95s. I think you have to give all of them the opportunity to interview before the board. Why would you do that?
You don't have to give them all the opportunity.
Of course you do. How would any?
You do not know.
How does the chief know a recruit off the list? He doesn't know. He knows his own firemen. He knows his own officers. He doesn't know who the kids on the list are.
He can review the list and decide let's say what number he wants to interview.
By what process? Looking at their resume, looking at their score. We have 30 participants who've got 95.
Well, yeah, about 30, but only 22 are going to be available. I think a lot of them.
Fine. So I think all 22 would like an opportunity to be reviewed by the full board. I know I would.
Mr. Chairman, I have no problem meeting with the applicants once they've done their CPAT. That's why we're going to have a meeting in January to go over this, and another one immediately following the CPAT to find out how many applicants passed the CPAT and send out letters to them for interviews.
The chief
to get them into the March class.
The chief doesn't hire them. He can give his recommendations.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
of course.
We can interview,
it's a silly request.
Interviews, but it's something that we have to start working on from now. We cannot wait until
no
February.
problem. And so if the board wants to hire, a majority of the board wants to hire 6 new firefighters, the majority of the board should vote on it and send them. But it is not the duty of the chief to hire them.
I said the chief would recommend to the board who he
why
would
don't
like
we just
to
why don't we just give the chief the rest of the duties and let him start paying all the bills and everything else?
That's a little absurd.
Just for argument's sake, if of the 30 95s, let's say 25 of them pass the CPAT, just for example, the chief could get the resumes from the 25 and go through it and come up with a list of, say, 15 that he would recommend, that and his recommendation would be that these 15 would probably be the best people for the firefighter position. And then we can interview those 15.
And we can interview all 22, and chief can give us his recommendations.
Oh, that's fine too.
And
I have no problem.
And the chief can participate in the interviews like he just did last year. Stop with the silliness. Let's move on. If you want to hire, let the majority of the board say they want to hire. Move it to next month so we can address it.
And just so
in an appropriate manner.
Just so the public knows, we currently have 4 open positions right now, I believe, if I'm correct. And with the termination of the one firefighter from tonight, that's 5. And there will be another firefighter retiring in February. That's going to be 6. So we're not increasing the number of firefighters that we would currently have if we had all the positions filled. We're just filling open positions.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But don't ask for us, Paul Carlo, to relinquish our duties as the board members. Please.
It's a majority. I'm not.
Please.
It's a majority rule, Brian. If 3 people want to relinquish, that's fine.
It's not true.
It's not true. If the majority of the board is fine with the chief making recommendations, that's not true.
You think it's okay if the board, 3 of the board members, the majority says, all right, let's have the chief pay the bills going forward. Let's
I'm
have the
not talking
chief.
about bills. I'm talking about fire. I'm talking about reviewing firemen.
Why does it make a difference?
I just
If
it's
you
a-
have
it's
a
a- it's a- it's
statutory
a-
Could I
responsibility to
interject
do
for a
something.
second? I'm sorry, Brian. I apologize. I hear
No
what you're
sweat.
saying. I agree with it. But I would just like to ask Cheryl, because you gave me wise decision one time that commissioners could not shirk their duty. You remember I wanted to put a public referendum out and have the public decide about staffing, and you said, no, that's not allowed. We cannot give up our duties. So please let us, you've heard the conversation.
Yes, you cannot give up your duties. There's certain non-delegable duties that the fire commissioners must have, which includes hiring and firing. You're welcome.
does it
Thank you.
include,
Paul Colo, can we move it to
Cheryl,
next
does it-
month, please?
Cheryl, does it include interviewing?
How you take interviewing, as long as it's done correctly in the matter that the board is comfortable doing that is sufficient. But the actual hiring, firing, and discipline is the board's duty.
No, I'm fine with the hiring process. Yes, I'm just asking, are the commissioners required to interview the candidates? That's all.
There is no requirement that I'm aware of that requires all of the commissioners to interview. You can delegate interviewing and you can ask for recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
Which is what we do. And the chief participated the last time. He actually even sat for the interviews. Thank you, chief.
Okay, so we'll move it to next meeting.
Well done, Paul Colo.
And really, besides deciding our methodology of going about this, do we have anything else on the agenda for the 20th? Because like Paul Ranalone said, the CPAT is until February 4th. There's no sense really convening until that point when you can actually schedule interviews. Because you know how many you have. Hopefully 22.
CPAT results, I think, are going to be out available on the 12th. That's Saturday, February 12th.
You want to interview on Saturday morning, Paul Colo? I'll do it.
No, not at all. No.
Let's see.
I mean, it sounds like the interview should happen the week of the 14th with our meeting happening the following week.
Well, our meeting is that week, Tom.
Oh, that's the 3rd week of February? I'm sorry.
Right. So we have to, get them set up and move pretty fast on them. So we need to get Jamie doing her job to get them on board.
I hear it's a lot of work. You're absolutely right.
I think perhaps a meeting in January might be too early to do anything about the new hirees. Aside from paying some extra bills in 2 weeks, is there anything else that we have to meet for? Is Station 4, I mean, do we have to do anything else with Station 4 that we haven't done yet?
You have an appointment from executive session and you have a contractual change that was discussed in executive session.
Okay.
Right. We have the appoint. Okay. So we have the additional chaplain and the other issue. Yeah. So we've got it could be a very short meeting.
Or it could happen, those two things could happen in early or mid-February.
So you want to do it? You want to hold off until our Feb 17th meeting?
I think it would be efficient.
We may need a meeting before the 17th if we want to give the secretary time to send letters to the people who have passed the CPAT, or we can just make a motion when she gets the results of the CPAT to send letters to all the candidates who pass that we're going to do interviews and come up with a date for the interviews.
Cheryl's shaking her head saying that sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we're going to have to do then. Is as soon as give the secretary the authority to, once she gets the results from the CPAT, to send all the candidates letters for interviews, Do we want to specify the date for the interviews at this point, or do we wait until we get the results back?
At a date to be determined based upon availability of those participating in the interview?
Okay, that's great. Sounds great.
We'll make sure we get there, Cheryl.
Does anyone want to second his motion?
Anybody?
I'll second it. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call the roll.
I'm gonna have to repeat the motion because we've talked back and forth.
Good point, Anthony. Good point.
We're going to give the secretary the authority to, once she gets the results back from the CPAT, to send the candidates who passed the CPAT a letter stating to prepare for interviews.
How many are going to CPAT?
They all are.
All of them, all 25, like Brian said?
30, 25, 30, whatever the number is.
We have, this is Jamie. We have 8 candidates that have already passed the CPAT, and we have 14 candidates that are attending the CPAT. So in total, we will potentially have 22 candidates, depending on the results of the CPAT, which is being held on February 12th.
Right. And once all the CPAT is together, Anthony, then we're making, I'm assuming Paul Ranalone is making a motion for Esang to be able to send out that canvas letter. Is that it, Paul Ranalone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Schedule the interviews is what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said. Schedule.
Yeah,
it,
okay, whatever.
Right, schedule the interviews.
You're
Yes,
right. That's
Right.
what I meant, the canvas.
Providing they pass the CPAT.
right.
Okay,
Correct.
I could go along with that.
Okay.
Want me to call the roll, or are you
Thank you,
doing?
Esang.
Okay, no worries. Commissioner Laurie,
All right,
Commissioner Ranalone,
Aye.
Commissioner Keating,
Sure.
Commissioner Roach,
Abstain.
Commissioner Carlo.
Aye. All right, thank you, Son. All right, that concludes our meeting.
You want to ask the public to if they have any comments, Paul Collin?
Well, it wasn't meant to be an open, we can. It wasn't part of the agenda, but of course we can. Any public comments or concerns?
motion to adjourn.
I don't know if local 916 is available.
Yeah, I have no comments.
Thank you, Steve. Okay. On that note, then I make a motion to adjourn.
Commissioner, could I just say one thing? Since we may not have a meeting on the 20th, I'm going to have to give the Academy a hard number on how many candidates we would like to send. Right now, I have it reserved at 5 to 7. So should I tell them 6? Is that the number we've decided on? Because if we don't meet again until February 14th, they're going to, they're only going to give us those 5 slots.
When do you need a hard number to give, Chief?
Probably before February 1st. They'll probably canvass about a month to a month and a half out. So I don't have an exact date.
There's a lot of time between February 1st. Why don't we address it when you know? Clearly.
Okay. I'll just leave it as 5 to 7, but they may only give us 5 slots.
Chief, I would make a recommendation then that you tell them 7, because remember at the last meeting last year, I did make another position for 1 firefighter, in addition to the 4 outstanding open slots, and even considering the termination we're going to have, as well as the retiree in February. That would be 6, and the extra position would be 7. So
Okay.
if we can do 7, that's great.
I'd rather go high and have 1 drop out than to
Yes.
go low and wish we had an extra slot. So I'll confirm 7, and we'll go from there if it changes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you,
Thank
Cheryl.
you.
So we get a motion
Thank
to,
Motion to adjourn?
Yep, motion to adjourn.
Aye.
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 Good evening, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Oh, boy.
We're gonna stop recording now.
Oh, great.